All right, thanks, guys. Got a great show for you today. We're currently 7-2 in our last 9 board member package plays on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 9 NBA package plays. You can find that information in the link below. That is patreon.com/Brock Page. Now, we got ourselves a relatively full slate of NHL action here today, so let's go ahead and get into it. Beginning with the Panthers taking on the Bruins, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Boston. The Bruins are minus 160, total 6.5. We saw a 10-cent fade of Boston and movement upward on the total. The Bruins open $1.70 down to 160, total have been 6 up to 6.5. 69% of the consensus are leaning toward Boston, 83% shaded toward the over. Right now, Florida's plus 140 on the money line. Boston plus 150, laying the goal and a half. We have Tuukka Rask for the Bruins, Sergei Bobrovsky for the Panthers. Bobrovsky's coming into this game with a 3.39 goals against and an 8.84 save percentage. Tuukka Rask on the other side for Boston, 7-2-2 on the year, 1.99 goals against and a 9.33 save percentage. Boston's 11-3-3 overall for the season, 7-0-2 at home. They're in first place in the Atlantic Division, and they are 3 points ahead of Toronto in the division. Drew Pasternak has 15 goals, 30 points. He's plus 6 on the year. Brad Marchand, 11 goals, 29 points. He's plus 10 on the season. And the crafty veteran, Zdeno Chara, is plus 13 on the year as well. Now, Boston ranks in the top 5 in home scoring, top 3 in goals allowed at home. Meanwhile, on the Florida side, Horluck is still out indefinitely. They've dropped 2 out of their last 3. They rank in the bottom 3 in goals allowed, and they are in 4th place in the Atlantic Division. Now, total-wise, Florida is 7-4 to the over when traveling. Boston is 9-6-2 to the over for the year. I'm going to lean Boston minus $1.60 and the over 6.5 in that game. Next matchup, Blue Jackets, Canadiens, 7 o'clock Montreal. The Canadiens are minus 175, totals at 6. No movement on this total as of yet. We did see a 15-cent move toward Montreal. The Canadiens opened $1.60 up to 175, totals at 6. 84% are leaning Montreal, 64% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Blue Jackets are plus 155 on the money line. The Canadiens are plus 145, laying the goal and a half. We have Carey Price for the Canadiens, Elvis Merzlikins for the Blue Jackets. Now, Merzlikins is coming into this game with a 3.91 goals against and an 8.82 save percentage. Carey Price on the other side for Montreal, 8-4-1 on the year, 2.71 goals against, 9.14 save percentage. Montreal is 9-5-3 overall for the year, 5-3 to the over. 5-3 straight up at home. They're in 3rd place in the Atlantic Division, just 4 points back of the division lead. Drouin and Gallagher have 7 goals apiece. Domi is plus 7 on the year. Tatar, 14 points, 9 assists for him. Montreal's 5-2 straight up in their last 7. Top 5 in scoring, top 3 in shots allowed at home. Now, Columbus on the other side struggling as of late. They've lost 6 out of their last 7 games. They're just 6-8-3 overall for the season. 7th place in the division. 15 points back for the lead in that division. Columbus ranks in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 5 in goals allowed on the road. When it comes to the total, Columbus is 4-2 to the under in their last 6. 7-1 to the under in their last 8 in Montreal, if you're into historical trends. The Canadiens, on the other side, 5-3 to the under at home, 6-2 to the under in their last 8 head-to-head matchups with Montreal at any location. I'm going to lean toward the Canadiens, minus $1.75, and the under 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Penguins, Rangers, 7:30 Madison Square Garden. This game's currently off the board. Sidney Crosby's listed as questionable for tonight's action for the Pens. Chris Letang is out indefinitely. Regardless, though, Pittsburgh 2-0 straight up in their last couple of games, 4-2 straight up in their last 6. They're 10-6-1 overall for the year, 5-2 against the spread on the road. Of course, when I refer to the spread in the NHL, I'm referring to the puck line. Now, Gensel has 8 goals for the Pens, 6 assists, 12 points. Crosby's responsible for 17 points on the year, 12 assists. McCann and Dumoulin are both plus 12 for Pittsburgh. The Pens rank in the top 3 in road scoring, top 5 in offensive shots. The Rangers on the other side, 4-4-2 at home, bottom 3 in goals and shots allowed at home. Zibanejad and Stahl listed as out for tonight's action. When it comes to this total, Pittsburgh's 5-2 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Pittsburgh money line and the over in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Tuesday's NHL action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to beginning at just $1.99 per month. Now, we're currently 7-2 in our last 9 board member package plays. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 9 NBA package plays. You can check out my current record for free right on the homepage. All you got to do is click the link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, a lot of folks will ask me, what's the difference between Patreon and YouTube? What we do right here on YouTube is we handicap and formulate an opinion on every single game on the board, both the side and the total. Well, if you do that in real life and you place a bet on every single game on the slate, both the side and the total, you're going to lose. The math is against you, and the bookies are too good. So what we do on Patreon is we really focus and narrow down on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're personal selections. They're games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current record on Patreon is a lot better than it is on YouTube. And you can check out that record for free right now. All you got to do is click the link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive back into some more lines and personal leans for our NHL slate here today. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Avalanche taking on the Jets. And that is going to be an 8 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Winnipeg. The Jets are -115, totals at 6. We saw a 15-point fade, 15-cent fade of Winnipeg and movement upward on the total. The Jets open $1.30 down to -115. Total open 5.5 up to 6. 57% are leaning Colorado. 80% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Avalanche is catching even money on the money line. Winnipeg +215, laying the 1.5. We have Connor Hellebuck for Winnipeg. Pavel Francouz for Colorado. Francouz is 4-2 on the year, 282 goals against, .915 save percentage. The Avalanche has won their last couple of games, 2-0 straight up in their last 2. They're also 10-5-2 overall for the year, second place in the Central Division. They rank in the top 3 in scoring, top 10 in goals allowed on the road. McKinnon has 9 goals, 22 points for the Avalanche. Makar, 13 assists, 17 points for him. Comfer and Graves +7 on the year for the Avalanche. Now Winnipeg on the other side, they've failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10 puck line plays at home. So once again, 3-7 ATS at home for Winnipeg. They rank in the bottom 10 in shots allowed, bottom 3 in home scoring. Little, Bufflin, Beaulieu, Appleton, all listed as out for tonight's action. When it comes to the total, Winnipeg's 11-6-1 to the under, 7-2-1 to the under at home. Give me Colorado catching even money and the under 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Coyotes, Blues, 8 o'clock, St. Louis. The Blues are -165, totals 5.5. We saw a nickel move towards St. Louis. The Blues opened $1.60 up to $1.65, totals 5.5. 74% are leaning Blues, 58% shaded toward the over. Right now, Arizona's +145 on the money line. St. Louis +$1.60, laying the 1.5. We have Jordan Binnington for the Blues, Darcy Kemper for Arizona. Kemper's coming into this game with a 2.00 goals against and a .930 save percentage. Arizona's 10-6-2 overall for the year, 8-2 against the spread away from home. They're in third place in the Pacific Division, 4 points back for the division lead. Arizona ranks in the top 3 in goals allowed, top 10 in shots allowed on the road. They're also top 10 in offensive shots away from home as well. Grabner and Dvorak, 6 goals apiece for the Coyotes. Nick Schmaltz, 15 points, 11 assists for him. And Goligoski, +7 on the year for Arizona. Now St. Louis on the other side, 2-6 ATS at home. Steen and Tarasenko are both out for tonight's action. They rank in the bottom 3 in offensive shots, bottom 10 in home scoring. When it comes to the total, Arizona is 10-7-1 to the under for the year, 6-4 to the under on the road. Give me the Coyotes +1.5 and the under 5.5 in that game. Next matchup, Red Wings, Ducks, 10 o'clock, Anaheim. The Ducks are minus 170, totals at 6. We saw a nickel move toward Anaheim and movement upward on the total. The Ducks open $1.65 up to 170, total open 5.5 up to 6. 68% are leaning Anaheim, 67% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Red Wings are plus 150 on the money line. The Ducks are plus 160, laying the goal and a half. We have John Gibson for the Ducks, Jimmy Howard for the Red Wings. Howard's just 2-8 with a .399 goals against and an .887 save percentage. John Gibson on the other side for Anaheim comes into this game with a .280 goals against and a .915 save percentage. Anaheim ranks in the top 10 in goals allowed, 6-3-1 at home. Henrique, 8 goals, plus 7 on the year. Silverberg, 7 goals, 14 points for him. Now Detroit on the other side, just 6-12-1 overall for the year, 2-7 away from home. They've also failed to cover in 6 out of their last 9 on the road. They rank in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 3 in goals allowed. And total-wise, Detroit is 70% to the under in their last 10, taking on the Pacific Division. Anaheim, 5-1 to the under in their last 6 head-to-head matchups with Detroit. I'm going to lean toward the home favorite in this one. Give me the Ducks minus $1.70 and the under 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Predators, Canucks, 10 o'clock, Vancouver. Nashville's minus 115, totals at 6. 56% are leaning Nashville, 81% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Canucks are catching even money on the money line. Nashville plus 220, laying the goal and a half. We have Pekka Rinne for Nashville, Jacob Markstrom for the Canucks. Now, if you like Pekka Rinne in this matchup here, he's 8-1-2 on the year, 246 goals against, 912 save percentage. Nashville's 9-5-3 overall for the season, third place in the Central Division. They rank the top 3 in scoring in the NHL, top 10 in shots allowed. Nick Bonino has 8 goals. He's also plus 8 on the year. Yossi has 17 points, 12 assists, and Ellis has 13 assists and plus 8 on the year. Now, Vancouver's lost their last 4 straight. They rank in the bottom 10 in home offensive shots. And when it comes to this total, Nashville is 11-6 to the over. They're also 5-2 to the over when traveling. Give me the Predators minus 115 and the over 6 goals in that game. Next matchup, Oilers, Sharks, 10:30, San Jose. The Sharks are minus 135, totals at 6. We saw a nickel fade of San Jose in the early wagering. The Sharks open $1.40, down the 135, totals at 6. 63% are leaning Edmonton, 77% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Oilers are plus 120 on the money line. San Jose plus $1.85, laying the goal and a half. We have Martin Jones for the Sharks, Mike Smith for the Oilers. Smith comes into this game with a .222 goals against and a .926 save percentage. Jones on the other side for the Sharks, just 5-7 on the year, .331 goals against, .888 goals save percentage. Once again, .888 save percentage. Now San Jose's bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 5 in goals allowed. They're just 7-10-1 overall for the year, 7th place in the Pacific Division. They're 11 points back of Edmonton. Speaking of the Oilers, they're in first place in the division, 12-5-2 overall for the season, 26 points total. They're also 7-3 against the spread when traveling, 4-2 straight up in their last 6. Leon Draisaitl, 14 goals, 34 points. He's plus 8 on the year. James Neal has 12 goals on the year himself. Once again, James Neal, 12 goals on the year for the Oilers. And Connor McDavid, 30 points on the season, 19 assists. Cashin's plus 13. Benning is plus 10. Edmonton's top 3 in goals allowed on the road, top 5 in shots allowed in that same category. When it comes to the total, Edmonton's 70% to the under when traveling. Give me the road dog in this one. I like the Oilers plus $1.20 and the under 6 goals in that game. And we're going to slide to our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Wild Kings, 10:30 Los Angeles. The Wild are minus 115, totals at 6. We saw a 10-cent move toward Minnesota. This one pretty much opened as a coin flip, as a pick'em, but with both teams opening up at $1.05. But once again, we saw a 10-cent move toward Minnesota. No movement on this total as of yet. Once again, the Wild open $1.05 up to minus 115. Totals at 6. 52% are leaning Minnesota. 65% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Kings are plus 101 on the money line. Minnesota plus 230, laying the goal and a half. We have Devin Dubnyk for Minnesota, Johnny Quick for the Kings. Now, Dubnyk comes into this game with a 3-7 record, .357 goals against, and an .887 save percentage. Minnesota's lost 4 out of their last 6 games. They're also just 6-10-1 overall for the year. They're in last place in the Central Division, and they are 14 points back of first place. Minnesota's just 3-9 away from home. Bottom 5 in road scoring, bottom 3 in offensive shots. Fiala is listed as out. Foligno and Kunin are listed as questionable. Now the Kings on the other side, top 3 in offensive shots, top 10 in shots allowed. They're also in the top 3 in offensive shots on the road. Kopitar, 5 goals, 16 points. Brown and Doty have 10 points apiece as well. Now total-wise, the Kings are 4-3 to the over at home. Minnesota 10-6-1 to the over for the year. I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me the Kings plus 101 in the over 6 goals in that game. We're going to go ahead and slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/Brock Page, where we are 7-2 in our last 9 board member package plays. I like the Kings plus 101 over 6 goals. Edmonton plus 120 under 6 goals. Nashville minus 115 over 6 goals. Colorado catching even money under 6 goals. Arizona plus 1.5 under 5.5. Pittsburgh money line over in that game. Boston minus 160 over 6.5. And last but certainly not least, I like Montreal minus 175 in the under 6 goals in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/Brock Page. Shout out to Josh Green, Jose Ramirez, Alec Harold, Derek Slappy, Mr. Bro, Pittsburgh Gentleman PA, Ariel Perez, IMDb Truth, Ronnie Christie, 201 Lifestyle, Joaquin Hamlin, Almighty Addo TV, Shotgun Shell 80, Drew Churchill, CQP Underboss, Vernon Williard, Janora Michael, Charlotte P., and last but certainly not least, shout out to Stephen Lewis. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/Brock Page, where we are 7-2 in our last 9 board member plays on that site. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 9 NBA package plays. We do daily premium selections on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And the main difference between YouTube and Patreon is that what we do on YouTube is we handicap every single game, side, and total. We don't do that on Patreon, We narrow it down and focus on 3 to 4 premium selections on Patreon. They're personal plays of mine. They're games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my record on Patreon is a whole lot better than it is on YouTube. So don't forget to check me out. You can actually check out that current record for free right now. All you got to do is click the link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/Brock Page. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/Brock Page.